Hi everyone, my name is Neerja Patel. I'm a senior at South Burlington High School and this is my senior challenge. So my senior challenge is a video production of the 5th annual South Burlington Community Blood Drive. Why did I pick a blood drive? Well, I started getting involved with the blood drives probably my sophomore year of high school, and I joined the team that Hannah was part of. And I really liked being a part of the team and organizing blood drives. And I was also really interested in the medical field. And I thought a blood drive was a great setting to, get to meet with professionals, and it's another setting like a hospital. And it's also great. I love helping people, so that's also why I joined the blood drive. Also, I've been doing a lot of blood drives with the student council, so I've been getting involved with that, and that's why I really like doing blood drives. Why did I choose a senior challenge? It's because it's a challenge. It was definitely a challenge throughout the whole road, but I definitely wanted to make a statement my senior year and do something that I could really remember and be happy that I did my senior year. And specifically for this project, I love working with videos and technology. I was part of SBNN in middle school, which is the news station over there. And I just love working with softwares and being on the crew for that. And so I thought making a video would be a new and awesome way to do what I love, but also get credit for that as well. And just to start it off, blood is very important in the community. It saves millions of lives every year, and a blood drive is important and special because it's a convenient location to donate blood. So the introduction, some history about the blood drive, is that Mr. David Carmichael, VT Account Executive, met up with Ms. Lavarnaway about 5 years ago, and they wanted to create some sort of group that would make community blood drives. And so in 2010, 5 years ago, a student-led group was formed. And ever since then, we've been having blood drives. And this past year, it was the 5th annual community blood drive, which was awesome. My purpose is to understand the student perspective on creating and leading a student-led community blood drive. And I had to do this. And I also had to research about videos and videography and techniques of professional video in order to make a video. So the statement of my project is to produce a professional video which assists a student-led group consisting of 10 high school students from South Burlington High School in the organization of an annual community blood drive. This blood drive takes place every January at St. John Vianney's Parish Center, which is in South Burlington, Vermont, in order to replenish the local blood supply. So I had two components of my research. One was about the blood drive in the community, and the other portion was about the video production, which is my actual senior project. So I started out with the need for blood. A lot of this research is from the American Red Cross website. And so I first found out that every 2 seconds, someone in the United States needs blood. That is huge. I never knew that, and I think that's a fact that everyone needs to know. More than 41,000 blood donations per year, which is also incredible. And about 38% of the U.S. population is eligible to donate. However, only 10% choose to. So that's kind of huge, and that's why we want to promote blood drives in the community. Also, 1 pint. You can collect 1 pint of blood from each donor, and transfusions are needed for a variety of reasons. For illnesses, accidents, and surgeries, and some common illnesses that you would need transfusions would be liver disease, kidney disease, hemophilia, sickle cell disease, and most specifically cancer. I also researched about the blood supply overall. So obviously blood cannot be manufactured and can only be obtained by donations. That's huge. That's why we need blood drives, and that's why we need to collect blood. Also, there are 15.7 million blood donations that are collected per year and 9.2 million donors. There are a bunch of transferable products in donating blood. There are red cells, platelets, plasma, and cryoprecipitate, which is a blood component that helps with clotting. Also, the process of donating specific blood components is called apheresis. And also another fact is that there's a constant demand in O-negative blood because only 7% of the population has that blood type. That is not a lot of people, and also that specific blood type goes to all different people with all different kinds of blood types. So that's why it's in high demand. Also, there's a constant demand for type AB positive plasma, and only 3% of the population has that. And those are used for specific surgeries and for newborn babies because it's very important for them. The next part of my research was the blood donation process itself, which takes about 90 minutes depending on the person. So the first part of the process is registration, and they'll ask you simple questions like, have you donated before? And they'll make you read the blood donation manual, which kind of gives you more information about the blood donation process itself. Also, if you've donated more than once, you'll have a donor card, which will make registration easier. The next part is the medical history and mini physical, which kind of go hand in hand. They'll take your temperature, blood pressure, pulse, and hemoglobin levels to make sure that you're eligible to donate and not putting yourself in risk. They'll also ask you simple questions like, have you been anywhere in the past 6 months, or have you donated in the last 8 weeks? Those are all essential questions to know that if you're ready to donate. Also, you will have a mini physical, which is just a simple check. They'll check your arm for cleanliness. I know a SBHS faculty member had an open wound on her arm, and that's why she was unable to donate. That's very minor, however, it does affect your eligibility to donate. Next, the blood donation process itself, which takes about 10 to 12 minutes, obviously also depending on the person. The American Red Cross staff is very comforting and helpful throughout the whole experience. They'll ask you, are you feeling okay? They'll offer you water, blankets, and comfort you throughout the whole process. And the last part is refreshments. So you'll have to stay at the area for 15 minutes, specifically at a table that has refreshments, to make sure that you're ready to go out, to be able to drive again, or wherever you need to go, and to make sure that you're healthy to do that. So I just want to give you a little picture analysis over here about the process of the blood drive. So all of these pictures were taken at our specific blood drive. So on the top left-hand corner, we have registration. A couple of our team members are registering a student that is donating blood. On the top right-hand corner, we have the mini physical and the medical history, and those happen in smaller compartments so that it keeps the whole process confidential. On the bottom left-hand corner, we have a team member donating blood. She looks very happy, as you can see. And on the bottom right-hand corner, we have one of our members talking and eating with a SBHS faculty member to make sure that he's safe and healthy and ready to go. The next part of my research was the American Red Cross itself. They obviously have a huge part in our blood drive, hosting the blood drive. So a bit about the American Red Cross is that it started in 1940 under the leadership of Charles Dew. They hold 40% of the nation's blood supply, collect 40% of the nation's blood supply for over 2,700 hospitals. That is huge. 80% of donations are given at blood drives, and 20% are given at the American Red Cross locations, which makes blood drives really important because that's where we get a majority of our blood supply. Also, they hold over 200,000 blood drives a year, which is amazing if you think about how many days there are in a year. So hosting a blood drive is my next topic. Hosting a blood drive, it's a convenient way to give back to the community and support the American Red Cross and just the community overall. So the coordinator will take leadership to work with the team and work with the American Red Cross in order to make a successful blood drive. So the host basically offers a suitable location, helps to recruit donors, and publicize the event. And the American Red Cross will bring equipment, set up the event, and collect donations. For my blood drive specifically, we did a lot more than that, but these are just the basics of what it takes to host a blood drive. And lastly, my last research point was the importance of a community. You all may know of a community as the common definition as a group of people that live in the same area. However, after much research, I realized that it was not at all. It was much more than that. A community is a strong support group that fosters positive interactions between one another. A community must collaborate, and they can also network through community events just like this, like the blood drive. And A happy and strong community also benefits the individual and society, and also just creates healthier and happier people overall. So the next part of my research was the video production portion. So my first research topic for that was pre-planning. And so when pre-planning, you just have to think about ways to make the video engaging, and also you want to create a script and organize your thoughts and ideas. This really depends on the kind of video that you are making. I was making a documentary style video, so I had a lot of interview questions, so I came up with things about the interview, such as who to interview, what kind of people to interview, how many people, and what kind of questions. On the right over there, I have my interview questions and who I was going to interview. Also, it's important to plan a schedule with specified deadlines and goals to make sure that you are keeping on task, and so you plan out your time effectively. The next part of my research was just about the equipment. It's really important to have professional equipment when doing a video production. So that means having professional camera and tripod, professional lighting, and the right audio equipment, which you can decide. So after much research, all of my research pertains to specific interviews. So I researched about audio, and there were 3 common ways that you could obtain audio from interviews. The first was a handheld microphone, which is on the top over there, and it's shared between the interviewee and the interviewer, and it's for more informal interviews. The next type of audio is a lapel microphone, which I'm actually using right now, and it clips on the collar of an interviewee to help isolate background noise, which is the middle picture over there, and also a shotgun microphone, which is a long tube-like thing that is held above for clear sound, which is right over there on the bottom. It's important to have great audio because you want to make sure you hear the video and you know what's going on. You can also collect better audio in better rooms with less echoing. And it's also important to use headphones when you're obtaining footage, because it's important to assess any audio problems while you're interviewing rather than after. The next part of my video production research was about lighting, and obviously it's important to have good lighting because it's important to capture a clear image and actually know what's happening on the screen. And lighting is best conducted in brightly illuminated areas. You could do that outside or inside, and commonly inside you can use clamp lights or work lights. There's also 3-point lighting, which is a key light, a fill light, which fills in the shadow, and a black light, which increases the dimension in the shot. Also, there's white balance that you can use that brightens the frame overall, removes any color cast, and it just creates a brighter frame overall. I also researched about B-roll, and B-roll is additional footage that you can use during interviews or on top of them, and that really keeps the video engaging so that someone isn't watching an interview for 2 minutes long. And so for my B-roll and my production, I made sure to get footage from the event itself, blood donors, raffle items, and just the whole situation overall. So I also researched about the editing softwares. So I found that the current industry standard for video editing is Adobe Premiere Pro, and also similar editing softwares are Avid, Final Cut Pro, and Adobe. And these are just great softwares that you can use to cut and paste your video. They create smooth transitions, they have text on the screen, special effects, and adjustable audio options, so it makes it easy for you to cut videos and make a professional video. I'd also really like to thank RETN, which is the local television network, Channel 16 in Vermont, for all their help in my whole presentation. RETN stands for Regional Education Television Network. I used, out of eight research sites, 5 of them were given to me by RETN, which is huge. So I know that all of these sites are valid and that they're good sites to use for research. A little bit information about my interaction with RETN. I scheduled an appointment with them to talk to them about my project, and they actually checked some equipment out for me. However, after deciding and conversing with members of my blood drive group, we decided that it was best if we use a different camera, just because we were more familiar with it, and it would have been easier for us overall. So just to review, the statement of my project is to produce a professional video which assists a student-led group consisting of 10 high school students from South Burlington High School in the organization of an annual community blood drive. So my summary and conclusion is about the video, and I really thought it was important to relate my research to my project. So the first part was about the pre-planning, and so as I said, I created interview questions, and that was really helpful for my pre-planning because it was really easy during the event to get those interviews. For my audio, we obviously used headphones, and we had a professional camera. We also used a shotgun microphone, and that worked pretty well with this sound. Also, the blood drive happens at St. John Vianney's Parent Center, so the whole event is actually pretty loud, but we were able to unlock a quiet back room, which had better lighting, and we were able to get interviews over there. Also, as I said, we collected a lot of B-roll, and that was really awesome. That worked really well. And along with B-roll that wasn't part of my research, I also collected documents from the year and from just planning the event in order to help the viewer understand what it took to create a blood drive. Also, the editing software that I used was Final Cut Express. I used this, and the icon is right over there. I used this editing software because I was most familiar with it, and it was easiest for me to use. So yeah. So there are a lot of things that worked well with the video. I love working with the software. As I said, I was an SBNN, so I've been using that software for 6 years by now, so it's really awesome to not have to learn another software and use that editing software. Also, I really like the flow of my video. This was the first documentary that I had made, so it was really different for me, and it really took a lot of thinking to get it going and really figure out what I wanted to convey with this video. So I ended up really liking the flow of the video and understanding what a documentary meant. I also really enjoyed the B-roll with the interviews. I think we really got a good amount of B-roll and the kind of B-roll that we wanted in order to show what the blood drive really looked like. And I also really liked my introduction. The introduction is of a heartbeat, and I really like that because it's really, it catches your attention, and it just kind of opens it up, and I just love it so much. I also think what worked well was the choice of interviews and the time involved in pre-planning the details of the event. So with our interviews, we worked really well during the event to get those interviews. So when we had one person being interviewed, we had another person on deck ready to go. So we really used our time effectively in getting those interviews. So as always, there are things for improvement with the video. I think for both audio and lights, if we had more time, I would have definitely experimented with more audio options and light options to see which one could have been better, and I think that maybe could have made our video better overall. Also, the echoing in the interview rooms, there was a slight echo, and that's something that we couldn't have really fixed because there was only limited space that we could have gone to interview. However, the audio still worked out fine, but that was just another component of that. Also, as I said, this was my first documentary, and if I was to do this in the future, I would like to create more of a structure to my outline now that I know exactly how to do it, and this kind of would have helped me in the process and definitely chopped off some time. Going off that, I love videos, and if I was to make a video again, I have a lot of ideas, and also if someone wanted to make a video in the next year or the year after that, so future recommendations for video development, I had an idea for a video of the day in the life of a donor, which meant actually going through the process and following one donor throughout the process of donating blood, and just getting that whole perspective and that path. Also, life of a blood drop. So just pretending like you're a blood drop and getting the life of the moment that you collect the blood to how it gets checked and how it actually gets to the donor. Not the donor, but the patient. Also, the story on blood transfusion patients, so really getting their outlook on how it affected their lives and how important blood is to them because they're the ones that actually use the blood. So I had Doug Dunbeeben. He's the Community Education and Public Relations Manager at RETN, and he was really helpful in evaluating my video. So he wrote an evaluation up, and this is just one quote that he said in his evaluation, and I'm just going to read it off right now. He said, "Neerja clearly demonstrates skills uncommon at the high school level. She contacted RETN early in the process, scheduled time for production training, made the production actually happen, and then did a very nice job editing a final video that communicated clearly and engaged the viewer with great B-roll, interesting graphics, and concise editing." So when I heard this, I was ecstatic. It was really awesome to see an actual professional give me great feedback on my video, and knowing that he was so impressed with what I did. It was an awesome feeling, especially because this is the first time that I've done anything like this. Of course, he had some great suggestions that if I made another video or could change the video, I could do that. So he said more music throughout the video and different kinds of music. I actually changed that portion of the video before you will see today because I thought it was a really big component in actually making it a really fun video. Also, he suggested having more variety of B-roll during the beginning just because it's a constant frame for a bit of time. So that could have maybe made the video more engaging. And also the color of the heart rate to being red, which you will see is in the beginning of the video. Heart rate to be red, as in the blood drive is red, blood is red, to create more of a feeling with that. So my reflection was about the blood drive overall. I thought it was a very successful blood drive. We had 74 productive units of blood from 81 presenting donors, which was about 105.7% of our 70-pint goal, which is awesome. We had 18 first-time donors, which is 26% of our donors, 1/4. And there are usually only about 6% of donors are first-timers, which is a great jump. Also, we had 9 16-year-olds. A bill got passed about 2 years ago for allowing 16-year-olds to donate blood with parental guidance, and having 9 16-year-olds come to our blood drive was amazing. So I thought there was a lot of things that worked well with our blood drive. So there are a bunch of activities that we had at our blood drive. We had a photo booth and raffles, and it was a really lively event. This was the first time we had a photo booth. It was a lot of fun. The members were able to take pictures along with donors, and it just made it a lot of fun, and it was definitely something different. We also had raffles that business sponsored us, so donors were able to win prizes. Also, we had just a really fun environment because we had a theme. Our theme was the Summer Olympics, as you can see from the sign over there. And basically, we had different countries representing different chairs, and it just made the whole blood drive just awesome and a lot of fun. We also got a lot of positive feedback from donors and from adults from the community that have gone to our previous blood drives, and they just say that they love talking to the students and just being with them. I also found that this year we had a very reliable team. The team that I formed, I feel like we became really close, and we also got things done, but it was just a really fun group of people, and we really connected well together. Also, this is the year that we had the most business sponsoring our student-led blood drive, which I think is amazing because it's not only that the community is coming together, but also the businesses are sponsoring us. So it's like the businesses are basically at our event, technically. And we had so many businesses sponsor us with incentives and raffles, and we had so many raffles that we had to do hourly raffles. So that was a lot of fun, but that's just another thing. And hopefully next year we'll have even more businesses. So there are a couple things that could have been improved or needed improvement in our blood drive. So the first thing was the music was a bit loud. We had music at our event, and we've been in previous years because first, it's a lot of fun. It's very entertaining for donors to listen to music while donating blood, but it's also to keep the medical histories confidential for the American Red Cross. And so a St. John Vianney's Prayer Center member came and contacted us after saying that the music was a bit too distracting to them and a bit too loud. So hopefully next year we can create a medium between the American Red Cross and the St. John Vianney staff to create a blood drive that won't be as distracting to the St. John Vianney's Prayer Center faculty. Also, we hope that every year we can reach out to more senior citizens. Every year we try to do this, and we know it's really hard to do this because there are senior citizens. It's hard to get from place to place, but we always try to do it, and hopefully next year the team that is formed can reach out to senior citizens earlier in the process and get more to donate. Also, the last thing that we couldn't really help was the weather. There was a huge snowstorm on the day of our blood drive, and we had all of the surrounding blood drives closed, so ours was the only one open, and we stayed strong, and we got through it. But I think that definitely affected the amount of donors that came to our event. However, seeing that we still exceeded our goal and seeing the community still come to our blood drive, it was awesome to see, and that made me really happy. So, my other advisor was Mr. David Carmichael, who is the VT Account Executive at the American Red Cross, and he also wrote me a small evaluation, and this is just a brief snippet of what he said. In just 12 minutes, Neerja managed to encapsulate for the viewer the gist of what it takes to run a successful community blood drive. The sense that I got while watching the video was that looks like it was a lot of fun. I want to host a blood drive too. And that's just what the Red Cross could use to help it convey its mission to prospective blood drive sponsors. I thought that was awesome because it really encapsulated, as Mr. Carmichael said, what a blood drive should be about, and just the community and bringing everyone together. And I think I was able to really convey the meaning of a blood drive that the American Red Cross could be able to do with this video. So this is my bibliography. These are all the citations and all the information that I use for my research. And I want to thank all of you for coming to my senior project presentation. I want to thank Ms. Lavarnway and Mr. Carmichael for all they have done for me, and also RETN for all of their help, as well as my team members, because that's what really made it happen. And I also invite all of you to stay tuned to watch my actual senior project video, which is coming up next.
Every 2 seconds, someone in the United States needs blood, and more than 41,000 blood donations are needed every day. A total of 30 million blood components are transfused each year due to patients who need surgery, are victims of a car accident, or other related illnesses such as sickle cell disease and cancer. In fact, a single car accident victim can require as many as 100 pints of blood. The need for blood stays constant in the world. Every year, 15.7 million blood donations are collected. However, out of the 38% of the US population that is eligible to donate, less than 10% actually do. Blood cannot be manufactured and can only be obtained by donations. Therefore, we need to promote the idea of donating blood and create opportunities for people to do so. This year, the 5th annual Best Ever South Burlington Community Blood Drive took place on January 27th, 2015 at St. John Vianney's Prayer Center from noon to 6.
5 years ago, and sat down with Mrs. L, we talked about doing something new in town, because town didn't have a community blood drive of its own. We had lots of blood drives at the University Mall and other places, but it really didn't have its own persona. And I said, what can we do? And since 2011, a student-led group has taken the initiative to organize the annual community blood drive. The first annual blood drive team in 2011 was started by Aya Al-Nami. She was followed by the Legacy team in 2012, led by Robert Wetmore. Rebels with a Cause in 2013 was led by Avni Nahar, and the Rebels for Lives in 2014 was led by Hannah Ratu. This year, the group was named Rebels with a Dream, led by Neerja Patel.
The Career Development Center, the student staff in the Career Development Center started this five to 6 years ago and basically resurrected for South Burlington the community blood drive.
This is the 5th annual blood drive, and we hope to continue it to 6th, 7th, 8th, however many times it goes to. And so really my purpose is to kind of show how to run a successful blood drive and a guide to give to other students who are going to run blood drives.
I think it's important to have a blood drive to save lives. You know, if there's an accident, you're going to need a blood transfusion. In order to get that, you need donated blood.
It saves lives. 1 pint of blood saves 3 lives. That's huge. And if you have a blood drive, then you're saving more lives. It's a community event, so it brings the community together, and you see a lot of community presence, and I think that's really important in an event like this.
The students took the initiative to do it, and they just did it because they wanted to, and I think that's really in the spirit of volunteer blood donations.
If you're eligible to give, it's a very simple, painless process done by professionals for the American Red Cross who make it pain-free to give back to the community. And when I say community, it's our local, our immediate community here, as well as a much more broader community that's out there.
I just think that in terms of like maximum helping people, blood drive is like a really efficient way to do it.
I've been doing this job for 12 years. I'm a registered nurse. I came from the hospitals to start working for the Red Cross because I noticed that blood is really important for a lot of the patients I care for, and so I wanted to get on this side of the stick, you might say. So it's been a really good experience, and I still love it. I've been doing it for 12 years.
So starting from this summer, I created a team of 10 members. And we decided to create the blood drive. We've been having meetings every Wednesday morning. We've been contacting local businesses. We've been presenting at PACT, at a lot of community events, organizations to promote the blood drive.
We've been doing things such as getting sponsors for raffles, and we also have to make sure that our space is still ready and coordinate with the blood drive, and then we also have to make sure that the word gets out, so we've been doing presentations all over the community.
I heard about the blood drive because students came to the faculty meeting and announced it and passed out a flyer. So like I said, I always try to come to the school blood drives, but it especially helps when someone is that explicit about when and where, and hands me a sheet of paper so I can put it in my calendar right away.
I knew the team and I talked with them, and around the school, every day at school, I'd hear a lot of things like verbal announcements, and then there would be information stuck up, and there's just a lot of publicity for the event.
This year we use a lot of technology, so we have a Gmail account for our blood drive, and we communicated through that as well as Facebook, which is really important. And all of our documents, instead of printing it out or using another form of communication, we used one email, which was really awesome. That way we could all communicate really easily and get things done.
Every part of the event that you see is something that each member has been a part of. Each member has taken leadership to actually work through and make sure that that part of the event is a success. For example, the raffle tickets, that was done really well by some of the members, by contacting businesses, by following up with those businesses, and just making sure that that's an option.
We have some raffle prizes for the countries which you're sitting at. So be aware of your country right now. Neerja will be picking the first prize, which is 2 Essex Cinemas tickets, free passes for movies, so be ready. We went to multiple places so that we can get promotions from them, so that's how we have all our raffles, because we asked companies and they were nice enough to give us stuff.
I have helped out to organize the actual event's decorations, how the actual event will appear to the public.
Our theme is the Summer Olympics, and with the Olympics we have the theme of bringing everyone together, which is just like how we're bringing the community together with the blood drive.
There are different countries represented. We have decorations for the countries. We have these medals that we're giving out to, gold medal because we want to win our prize of 70 pints. We also have like the runner, which is one of the typical Olympic activities.
Okay, can I be next? Sure.
Favorite part about being on a team is the fun that we have together. It's great to do something where we're helping the community, but it's also a lot of fun putting it together.
Summer Olympics. We have all the chairs. It's a really fun environment, but we get stuff done, which is really cool. And I think that everyone wants to contribute.
The best part of this team this year would be how close we are, and first of all in age, and also our grade is, our group itself is made up of a mix of grades, and I like the fact that we were able to just kind of work with one another.
Every year, the team hopes to make the blood drive a better experience for our donors. So, what made it so special this year? It starts with this.
The energy. There's a lot of energy out there that we don't get usually at other blood drives, so it's a lot of fun. And that raffle that you guys are doing, that's awesome. And that photo booth thing, that's great. You gotta keep doing that. Music's good too. So no, it's just a vibe, it's just everybody's energy, and it just really feels good to be out there with this one, and I love the space.
Everyone is just so friendly, and there's so much support and everything. When I got to donate, people kept asking me if there was stuff I needed, if I was alright, if there was anything else, and I felt very comforted throughout the entire experience.
It's just really great to see the whole community come together, and everyone's donating blood, everyone's getting to know each other, and it's a pretty cool environment.
I hear from community members who come in every year who say, I make sure that I put this on the calendar for January to donate at South Burlington because of the enthusiasm of the student-led committee. And I had a woman today that said to me who lives in Charlotte and has been here for the last 3 years that say, I specifically come to this because it's awesome to sit and be able to talk to the kids. I think more people would feel the need to participate in blood drives if more of them were run by students. It's really difficult to say no to a group of students who have spent this much time trying to get this blood drive.
Actually made a pact with myself that someday I'm going to give 20 gallons of blood. And of all the pacts you make with yourself when you're a kid in high school, and looking at college and what am I going to do with the rest of my life, it's kind of a strange thing to make a pact about. But I do remember a few years ago when I got the 20-gallon pin, wow, I remembered back when I was 17, and that was kind of cool.
At the end of the day, the 2015 blood drive was a success. The drive collected a total of 74 productive pints of blood from 81 presenting donors. The team had a goal of 70 pints, which was exceeded by 105.7%. In addition, there were 18 first-time blood donors, which was about 26% of all those that donated blood. Normally, only about 6% of the donors are first-timers. There were also 9 16-year-olds that came to donate blood that afternoon. The legacy of the South Burlington Blood Drive will continue next year as the 6th annual Community Blood Drive in January 2016.